Hey there folks, and welcome back for another shaving video. And today we're going to use another classic. We're going to use Tabac, and it's been a while since you've seen this on my channel. This Tabac is quite old, but it still has that trademark sort of fragrance. Some people don't like it. Some people say it's sort of old-fashioned. And to be honest, initially I didn't care for it either. It took me a while to really enjoy the scent, but as I kept sort of sniffing it, do I like it, don't like it? Eventually I ended up thinking, I like this stuff. It is a good quality soap. I don't remember what it cost, to tell you the truth. You don't have to buy this container. You can just buy the puck if you want. It is distinctive. It is sort of powdery and old-fashioned, but it's beloved by most, I would say, in the shaving community. Some people don't like it, but really, it's an absolute indisputed or undisputed, whichever is the proper term, classic. And it looks like we've got a pretty good load here. Let's see, maybe a little bit more. Make sure I get a decent load here today with our Tabac. Like I said, that scent, there's nothing that smells like it. It is really unique. It's sort of powdery and spicy. It does smell old-fashioned, like I said before. All right, I think we've got a good enough load now. Let's wet the face and get going. Stay tuned. All right, so let's see how we do today with Tabac, and we're going to use a vintage razor, of course, courtesy of the great Don the Navy Goat, who I mentioned yesterday. Joined us on Facebook finally. It's great to have Don around, and it's wonderful to be getting a shave on this morning. I'm just thankful for another day. And if you had a bad day yesterday, maybe today will be a better day. It always brings the promise of something new and hopefully something positive. All right. As you can see here, no problem whatsoever about lathering Tabac. Nice thick lather there for pass one. Let's cut that back just a little bit more. And we'll get going. I had a question from a gentleman yesterday. And he had mentioned that I always talk about how great my shaves are. And believe me, they are. You witness this pretty much day in, day out. And he asked me what I shoot for, whether it's DFS, BBS. And I like to think of it as sort of somewhere in between, really. It's maybe a little closer than DFS, but not quite BBS. So for me, it's after the shave. If I run my finger over my face, I don't feel any stubble. So it's close to BBS, but not quite. If you look very closely, you could still, in some places, definitely after an hour or two, see, that stubble under the surface starting to come back. So it's not BBS. And it's definitely DFS, but maybe I'll call it DFS plus. It's a little closer than DFS, but not quite BBS. And that's what works best for me. That's what I can achieve day in, day out without thinking about it, without a tremendous amount of effort, and with it being enjoyable. If I really push, I can certainly achieve BBS, but I've really got to pay attention and just, hold the razor a certain way, and then it becomes more of a chore. I like to enjoy the shave as I'm shaving and talking to you guys, or just sort of let it happen, as it were. All right, there's a great first pass, by the way. We'll come back for pass 2. So anyhow, back on topic. You're seeing these shaves a number of times a week, and the shave just sort of happens. I just sort of let it happen as I'm talking. I'm not paying attention to certain areas of my face or trying to get really close. I'm just trying to hit all the marks and make sure I have a reasonably good shave. At least DFS, maybe a little bit better. So that's where let's call it DFS plus. Silly term, but that's sort of where I get in terms of the overall shave. And I'm happy with that. Now, if you can get BBS every single day without a lot of effort or trouble, then please, by all means, do. But I encourage you, get to the level that's comfortable to you. And at the end of the shave, if it is, clean, comfortable, and it has been enjoyable with no irritation, cuts, creepers, weepers, then I would suggest to you that's a pretty doggone good shave. At least that's sort of my mark. How did it feel? Was it enjoyable? And if it felt great and it was enjoyable, and at the end of the shave, when I run my hand over my face, when I'm rinsing my face, I don't feel stubble, then I'm happy with it. And we are good to go. So that's my mark. And it doesn't have to be yours. You can go either less. You can do 1-2 passes if you want to. Really, the only rule, hard and fast rule for this is do what works best for you. Like I just had a gentleman yesterday that told me he had been through a lot of soaps, and he discovered that Tabula Rasa, probably said that wrong, but was the best soap for him, for his type of skin, that he felt it was the most moisturizing and the best overall. And I said, congratulations, you've discovered, what works best for you. And that's his experience. I don't doubt it a bit. Now, I didn't share that experience. Tabula Rasa, very, very good soap. But it was, to me, not any better than most of the stuff that I use on a daily basis, and far more expensive. But for him, I 100% believe that it works best for him. He has found what works best for him. And you're going to have that. Some soaps work better for some than others, and he found a soap that he really loves and works great. And what I don't do, I'm not in the habit of doing, is telling someone they're wrong in what they're experiencing during their shave, because I'm the only one that can stand here and tell you what I'm experiencing during this shave. You can look, you can see, but really, if I'm telling you it's slick, I'm the only one that can determine that here for my shave, for my water, in my circumstances. So I'm not in the habit of telling people, no, you're wrong, it doesn't work that way. In terms of, that they had a shave and they said it was fantastic, and I said, oh no, you're wrong. No, I can't say that. Different skin, different water, different equipment, different everything. It varies from person to person. Hold that thought, we'll come back in pass 3. All right, so tomorrow, if you pick up Williams mug soap for $3 for, $4 or whatever it costs, and you use it and think it's the best darn soap of all time, it is for you. All right, it is. And I'm not going to tell you, I'm not here to tell you it's not. What I can tell you is things based on my experience, and that can vary. It may not hold true for you. I use things that work best for me, and I have determined for my skin type, for the water, for my growth pattern, and all of these things, that spending more on soaps produces absolutely no discernible difference in the overall shape. It may, however, for you. So, and initially, when I first started, I thought there was a difference, but as I used more and more over the years, I figured out, hey, I get a great shave with Williams mug soap. I also get a great shave with the Acqua di Parma. But one costs a couple of dollars and one costs $70. And for me, it's just a waste. This is a great, by the way, this is a great lathering soap. Look how thick. Typically, I don't go that thick on pass 3, but what the heck. We're just talking and shaving and having fun. Anyway, do what works best for you, and don't allow anyone to convince you that what you're feeling and experiencing during your shave isn't so. There are always people who will try to, sometimes it's based on business. They're a vendor that has something to gain. They want you to try the latest, greatest. They want you to keep buying the newest formula or this or that. Look, we're foolish if we don't acknowledge there's a financial incentive to do some of these things. That is a fact, period. And it can't be disputed, and it can't be deconstructed, that thought. It is, it's fact. Now, also, there are improvements, absolutely. However, you have to consider, every time when something is the latest and greatest, is it? Try it, see. If you use it and you think it is, it is. However, more times than not for me, or well, not more times, probably half the time I'm going, well, the last one was so good I could barely tell the difference. So keep that in mind. And if you're using an inexpensive soap and it's working great, it's working great. Don't let the people in the forums or videos tell you it's crap. Even if I had a soap that I have a terrible experience with and you use it and it's a home run, it's a home run for you. And that is okay. I think that's a problem. We sort of have at times a mob-like mentality in the shave groups and forums, and they're like, something has to be the greatest or has to be the worst. And in truth, a product can be the best for one person and the worst for another at the same time. That's, people are different. They shave differently. And you have to take that into account. And I don't think we do often enough. So what I'm telling you, based on the things that I use here on a day-to-day basis, is this stuff works great for me. And I have used lots and lots of different stuff, thousands of dollars worth. And I'm just telling you what my experience is. Your experience, of course, may vary. All right. That was an excellent 3-pass shave with the classic Tabac. We'll come back and do the post. Stay tuned. All right, and in comes the magic Thayers. Now, one of the things that I do when I'm checking my shape, as I'm putting on my Thayers and rubbing my face, I'm feeling also. Do I feel any noticeable stubble? Is it mostly clean? Nearly 100%? There might be, something I've missed somewhere from time to time. Not usually. But if that feels great, I'm very, very happy with my shave. Feels great to the touch. That's just sort of the metric I use. No weepers, cuts, creepers. A creeper is something, a little nick that you don't see initially, but 5 minutes from now, all of a sudden it pops up. That's what I call a creeper. A weeper, of course, is something that just weeps. It's not really a bad cut or nick, just something that bleeds a little bit and it just kind of keeps bleeding. Weep. Creep is something that pops up on you after the fact. You're done shaving, you didn't think you had any nicks or cuts, and like, oh, what the heck, I got a creeper. So anyway. Oh, by the way, today we're going to use, of course, the Tabac aftershave, which smells exactly like the soap. So if you like the scent of Tabac, you'll like the scent of the aftershave. I don't remember what it cost, but I've had it for a long time. Tabac and the classics, I just bring out every now and then. So a bottle like this, as many aftershaves as I have, will last me a very, very long time. Years. And it has been around for years already. So Tabac, great stuff. Let's do a quick review. Of course, we use the legendary Tabac shaving soap, which is very, very good, as you know. Gillette, Aristocrat, sent to me by, of course, Don the Navy Goat. Excellent. Our trusty Soft, home run every time for me. I love this brush. And I want to thank everybody once again for watching. And remember, your experience is your experience when you're shaving. Don't let anybody else, including me, tell you otherwise. You determine when you have a great shave. Not me, not the forums, not anyone. So keep that in mind. Until next time, let's make America shave again.